everyone, welcome back. In this video we are going to be discussing about a new concept which is genetic engineering. So by the name itself you must have understood that genetic engineering has got something to do with the genes. So before we start off with the understanding the concept of genetic engineering, let's understand first what are genes. Okay, so when we talk about a cell, inside the cell nucleus will be there. Okay, in the nucleus if you see, the chromosomes will be there. In the chromosome, DNA will be there, and then in the DNA, genes are going to be there. So what are genes? Genes are nothing but a small segment in a DNA. So if this is the DNA, a small segment in the DNA are only called as the genes. Okay, so it is going to be having a sequence of nucleotides. Alright, so already in hereditary chapter you must have studied about what are nucleotides. Okay, so genes consist of a sequence of nucleotides. So why are genes so important? Because genes are the unit of heredity. It's a unit of heredity. So genes are only going to get transferred from one generation to the next generation. Okay, so when we talk about genes, the genes I already told you they have a sequence of nucleotide. So these nucleotides which are present in the genes are going to be coding for some proteins. Okay, so this is the basic function of the genes. So genes are going to be coding for some proteins. So now let's discuss about what they are going to do with the genes in genetic engineering. So what is genetic engineering? Genetic engineering is the manipulation and transfer of genes. Okay, so genetic engineering is the manipulation and transfer of genes. Okay, so now let's understand why is genes are manipulated and transferred from one organism to another organism. Okay, so now let's take a look at the importance of genetic engineering. Okay, so we will just have a quick look at the importance of genetic engineering, and then later on we will discuss about each of that in detail. Okay, so the first important. So what are we going to be doing by transferring the genes from one organism to the other organism? So why is it useful? So it is useful for production of vaccines. It is useful for production of enzymes. Transferring gene from one organism to another organism is very useful in the field of medicine. So like this, there are many scopes for genetic engineering. So what is genetic engineering? It is nothing but the transfer of genes from one organism to another organism. Okay, so this technology, genetic engineering, is also called as gene manipulation, or it is also called as rDNA technology. So what is this rDNA technology? rDNA means recombinant DNA technology. So what are we going to recombine here? So the DNA from two different sources are going to be taken and it is going to be recombined. I will give you an example for your better understanding. For example, there is a bacterial cell. Okay, and then there is a human cell. So two cells are taken. One from the bacteria, the other from the humans. Okay. So now if you see, so there is going to be a DNA in the bacterial cell as well as in the human cell. So now what we are going to be doing is, we are going to take the DNA from two different sources. One from bacteria, one from human cell, and then we are going to combine it. Okay, so we are going to combine it. So here if you see, half of the DNA is going to be from the bacterial cell and the other half of the DNA is going to be from the human cell. as the DNA is obtained from two different sources and it is combined together in order to form one DNA, which is called as the recombinant DNA. So this technology is therefore known as the rDNA technology. Okay, so I hope you understood what is rDNA technology and why is it important. Because the genes are going to be coding for some proteins, and those genes which are coding for the proteins can be used for the production of vaccines, enzymes in the field of medicines and various other things. Alright, now let's take a look at the tools which are needed for the process of genetic engineering. Okay. So if you have to repair your bicycle, what do you usually do? You need tools to repair, right? You need tools to fix everything. So same way here also, for taking the genes and for combining it with another bacterial source and for all those things, tools are needed. Okay, so now let's take a look at the tools of genetic engineering. So the first tool is the plasmid. So now what is a plasmid? So plasmid is an extra chromosomal DNA which is present in the cytoplasm of the bacterial cell. So this is a bacterial cell. Okay, so in this bacterial cell, if you see, it is having the bacterial DNA. So this is the bacterial DNA. So apart from the bacterial DNA, there is one more additional DNA which is present in the cytoplasm of the bacteria, and that is called as the plasmid. So plasmid is an extra chromosomal double-stranded DNA. Okay, so why are we using plasmid here? So what is the role of plasmid in genetic engineering? Plasmid is going to be used as a vector. So what is the meaning of vector? Vector means carrier. So I said in genetic engineering, the genes are going to be transferred from one organism to another organism. So for carrying that gene, okay, so to carry those genes, we need what is called as a vector. Okay, so that vector here is going to be the plasmid. So the plasmid is only going to be used in the field of genetic engineering for transferring the genes. Okay, to carry the genes from one organism to another organism, we need the vector, which is the plasmid. And what is plasmid? It is the extra chromosomal circular DNA. So what is the role of plasmid? Why is plasmid chosen as a carrier? Because plasmid has the ability to replicate. So plasmid has the ability to replicate independently. That one plasmid can replicate and produce many copies. Okay. So when we discuss about the steps, that time I will tell you. So now I hope you understood what are plasmids. So now the next tool is the restriction enzyme. So what are these restriction enzymes? So the restriction enzymes are also called as the molecular scissors. Okay. So they are also called as the molecular scissors. So for example, I will tell you what is the role of this restriction enzyme. Okay. So now there is a DNA. Okay. So in this DNA, I want a small segment of the genes. Okay. I don't want the complete DNA, but I want only a small segment of the DNA, which are the genes. So what I have to do is, I have to cut the genes which I want. Am I right? So for cutting those genes, I need a scissor. Okay. So that scissor is only the restriction enzyme. So the function of the restriction enzyme is to cut the DNA at specific sites. Okay. Now the molecular scissors or the restriction enzyme cannot cut the DNA in any site. Okay. There is a specific site where restriction enzyme makes the cut, and that specific site is called as the restriction site. So what is the speciality? Why is the restriction enzyme able to cut only in the restriction site? Okay, so I will tell you, this is the 5' end of the DNA, this is the 3' end, this is the 3' and this is the 5 prime. So you know that DNA runs anti-parallel to one another. So this is 5 prime to 3 prime and this is 3 prime to 5 prime end. Now see here, I will write a sequence of nucleotides. Okay, G, G, A, T, C, C. Okay, now let's do the complementary base pairing for G, C, C, T, A, G and G. So if you read the nucleotides from 5 prime to 3 prime in this direction, it is G, G, A, T, C, C. And if you read the nucleotides from 5 prime to 3 prime direction in this side, okay, that is in this direction also, it is the same, G, G, A, T, C, C. Okay, so you can see here from this side to this side, if you read the sequence, it is similar to what you read from this side to this side. So if you read the nucleotide sequence from left to right, it is the same. And then if you read the sequence from right to left, it is again the same. Okay, so this type of sequence where when you read from right to left or from left to right, it is the same, right? So this type of sequence is called as palindrome sequence. So what is palindrome sequence? From right to left or from left to right, if you read the sequence will be the same. So that is only called as a palindrome sequence, and this restriction site is going to be having the palindrome sequence. So this restriction enzyme has the ability to recognize this palindrome sequence. Okay, it has the ability to recognize the palindrome sequence and it will make the cut specifically there only in the DNA. So I hope you understood what is the function of the restriction enzyme. So the restriction enzyme is also called as a molecular scissors, and the work of the restriction enzyme is to cut the DNA at specific sites, and those sites are called as the restriction sites, and those restriction sites will have a specific sequence which is called as the palindrome sequence. So the restriction enzyme can recognize the palindrome sequence and make the cut in the DNA. Okay, so from where are these enzymes obtained? So these restriction enzymes are obtained from bacteria. Okay, so this is about the restriction enzyme. Now let's move on to the third tool in genetic engineering, which is the DNA ligases. So DNA ligase. So what is this DNA ligase? So DNA ligase is commonly called as the glue. Okay, so I told that the molecular scissors are going to cut the DNA. So after cutting the DNA, that DNA has to be joined with the plasmid, right? That cut DNA has to be joined with the plasmid, right? So how are we able to join the plasmid with the desired DNA? It is with the help of the ligase. So the work of the DNA ligase is to join the DNA fragments. Okay, so the work of the DNA ligase is to join the DNA fragments. So I hope you understood the three tools that we have discussed in our today's. So now let's take a look at the steps which are involved in genetic engineering one by one. Okay, so for the purpose of genetic engineering, first two cells are going to be needed. So one cell is going to be a human cell. Okay, so for the example I am telling you, so one cell which is going to be taken is a human cell, and the other cell is going to be a bacterial cell. So I hope you know why bacterial cell is needed here, because from the bacterial cell only, the plasmid is going to be isolated. So this is the plasmid, right? So the plasmid is going to get isolated from the bacterial cell. Okay, when we talk about the human cell, inside the human cell a particular DNA is going to be taken. Okay, so a DNA is going to be taken. So in this DNA I want a specific gene. So a specific gene is going to be taken from the DNA, and then the plasmid is going to be isolated from the bacterial cell. Okay, so the first step in genetic engineering is the isolation of desired DNA. So we need to separate the DNA of our interest. So from the human cell, a small gene is taken, and from the bacterial cell, the plasmid is also isolated. So how are we going to cut this DNA into this small DNA fragment? It is using the restriction enzyme. So I hope you remember. So using the restriction enzyme, this big DNA molecule is going to be cut into a small fragment, and from that I am going to be using one gene. Okay, so this is a part of the DNA, and then from the bacterial cell the plasmid is also isolated. Now after this, what is going to be happening is, this gene of our interest is going to be put into the plasmid, because I told you already that plasmid is going to act as a vector. It is going to carry the DNA of our interest. So what happens? Now inside the plasmid, the DNA is going to be incorporated. Okay. So before that, the plasmid is also supposed to be cut in specific sites. Only when the plasmid is cut in specific sites, then there will be space for adding this desired gene. So in the plasmid also cut will be made, and then this gene of our interest must be incorporated into the plasmid. So how are we going to join the plasmid and the gene? It is using the enzyme DNA ligase. So using the enzyme DNA ligase, the gene and the plasmid can be combined together, can be joined together, and this DNA, which is obtained by joining the DNA from two different sources, is called as the recombinant DNA. Okay, or it is also called as the rDNA. So now what are we going to do this DNA? Now I have got the DNA which is of my interest. So what are we going to be doing with this DNA? So this rDNA is then going to be put into a bacterial cell. Okay. So the bacterial cell which is going to be carrying the rDNA is called as the host. Okay. So the bacterial cell which is going to be carrying the rDNA is called as the host. And this process by which the rDNA is transferred into the bacterial cell is called as transformation. Okay. So now why are we putting the rDNA into the bacterial cell? So the reason why we are doing this is because I have made a DNA of my interest. So I cannot stop with that one DNA. I want many DNA from that. Okay. I want many replicas of this gene. Okay, so that I can make more proteins out of it. The bacterial cell will divide very fastly. So that is the major reason why we are using the bacterial cell as the host here. So then what will happen is, this bacterial cells will then be put in a culture medium. So what is a culture medium? So culture medium is going to be providing all the nutrients which are needed for the bacterial cells to develop. So after some time, what happens is, the bacteria would have divided and it would have given rise to many bacterial cells. So for example, let's consider E. coli has chosen as a host here. So what is E. coli? E. coli is a bacteria. It's known as Escherichia coli. Okay. So E. coli is chosen as a host cell here. So E. coli, if you see, it divides within 20 minutes time. Okay, so E. coli within 20 minutes time it will produce its next generation. It divides so quickly. So if we are using E. coli here, just imagine within the first 20 minutes I will be getting 2 cells. After that it will develop like that. Okay, so just within few minutes I will be able to be making many copies of the DNA of my interest. So what happens is, after putting it into the culture medium, the DNA which I have made, the one DNA which I have made must have been multiplied. Okay, so this we are able to make many clones. So what is the meaning of clone? Clone means the Xerox copy. The photocopy of the original one is only known as the clone. Okay, so using this one rDNA, after introducing it into the host, I have made many clones out of it. So then what I can do is I can take this rDNA and then I can extract the protein of my interest. Okay, so whichever protein I want, that protein can then be extracted using the rDNA which has been prepared. So I will repeat the process for you once again so that you will be able to understand it better. So first we are taking two cells, one is human cell, the other one is the bacterial cell, and then from the human cell we are taking the DNA, and from the bacterial cell we are isolating the plasmid. So now this DNA we cannot put it completely into a cell because of its large size, and actually we need only a portion of it. We need only a segment, that is the genes. Okay. So using restriction enzyme, a small fragment of the DNA is cut and taken. And then after this a cut is also made even in the plasmid. Why a cut is made in the plasmid? Because then only this gene can be inserted into the plasmid. After that we will join the plasmid and the genes together using the enzyme DNA ligase. So this DNA is known as the recombinant DNA because it is formed by combining two different sources. Okay, so we call it as rDNA or the recombinant DNA. And then I don't want this one alone. I want many copies of the same rDNA. So what I have to be doing is I will be putting it in a bacterial cell. Okay, this rDNA is going to be introduced, is going to be put into a bacterial cell which is known as the host cell. Okay, so the host cell is the cell which is going to be carrying the rDNA, and then after that, and that process, I forgot to mention that, and that process is called as transformation. After that the bacterial cell will be inoculated into the culture medium. So culture medium is going to be providing all the nutrients for the development of the bacteria, and then the bacteria will start dividing and it will produce many clones. Okay, so from this rDNA we can isolate the proteins of our interest. Okay, so now I will be giving you an example so that you will understand this concept better. Okay, so we are going to be taking a cell, okay, so which has the insulin gene. So from human we are going to be isolating a cell which is having the insulin gene. So what is insulin? Insulin is a protein hormone which is responsible for maintaining the blood glucose level. So insulin only picks up all the excess glucose in the blood and it will store it in the liver. So we are taking the human cell which is going to be having the insulin gene. Okay, so using the restriction enzyme, the DNA which is going to have the insulin gene is cut and then the insulin gene will be isolated. And then the plasmid is also taken from a bacterial cell. And now we are going to be combining this insulin gene with the plasmid. So this insulin gene plus the plasmid is called as the recombinant DNA or the rDNA. Okay, or the rDNA. Then this plasmid which is carrying the insulin gene is transferred into a bacterial cell so that many copies of the insulin gene can be made. So then I am putting it in a culture medium and then I am getting many copies of the rDNA which is going to be carrying the insulin gene. Okay. So now from this gene what can I obtain? From this insulin gene I can be obtaining the protein hormone which is insulin. Okay, so you all very well know the deficiency of insulin will lead to a condition which is known as diabetes mellitus. So diabetes mellitus is a condition which has occurred due to the lack of insulin and it has affected people all around the world. Okay, so for treating the people all around the world, is it possible for me to be producing insulin with only this one rDNA? It is not possible. Am I right? So by what I can do is just by taking one insulin gene from a human cell, I can make many clones of the insulin gene and produce a lot of insulin hormone commercially. Okay, so why are we doing it commercially? Because it will be able to treat many people who are affected around the world. Okay, so I hope you understood what lot of importance genetic engineering has got in the field of medicine. Okay, so this is about genetic engineering. So I hope you understood what we have discussed in this video. So in our next video, we will be discussing about gene cloning. So thank you so much for watching.